Okay, thank you, David, and thank you, Anka, for laughing with me between sessions. Anka and I actually worked together online yesterday. We really had a lot of fun. She's very high energy. Look, my name is Norman Hallett, and I am a professional trader, and I help traders to collect long-term income through prop trading. And before I start, I'm going to show you, prop trading. If you don't understand prop trading, never heard of it, it's a way to trade other people's money and collect 90% of the profit. I know it sounds unreasonable and unbelievable. Why would people do that? But they're doing it, and they have their reasons. But today I want to kind of get into how I use Fibonacci in one section of my presentation, but I also want to address those people that are considering prop trading and are involved in prop trading and may be struggling, because prop trading, the main thing that you need to focus on is keeping the risk under control, and in a very strict way, probably stricter than you would probably do for your own retail account. So before I start, I'd like to get an idea of how many people are actually prop trading out there. Can you, on the chat, can you give me an idea of, just let me know, yes, no, do you prop trade? Kind of looking here at the chat. Okay, there's a yes, there's a no right there. From Wells, I saw you commenting before. A funded trader, yes and no. Okay, so we kind of got a mix here. Okay, a lot of yeses too. Okay, let's get going. Listen, whether you're prop trading or you're trading for your retail account, what I'm going to share with you right here, based on my literally 4 decades of coaching traders, I want to, again, stress the importance in this particular type of trading, and really all trading, that you really shouldn't be concentrating on how much profit you can make. You do want to retain open trade equity. That's important. But the idea of keeping your, using a valuable trigger, something that I call frequent and reliable, combine that with a consciousness of really limiting your loss, using stops to do that, is really what spells success. So let's get going. I want to go into the 3 phases of prop trading. The third phase is really the long-term phase, where you're counting on your trading for consistent long-term income. So let's get going. I appreciate your being here today. Here is there's my, listen, I'm going to make a presentation here. These are very limited in scope to a large degree. But if you need to get a hold of me, or you want to ask me any questions, just use admin@thedisciplinedtrader. If it doesn't come to me directly, if my staff is here, they'll forward it immediately to me once reading the messages from me. So any questions that you have along the way, if we don't get a chance to ask, just or for any reason, that's the way to get a hold of me. I want you to think about your eventual prop trading goal for those people who are prop trading, and what your biggest obstacle is. And I think that, again, whether you're prop trading or retail trading, trading your own money, those are 2 questions that you really need to keep in mind when you're building your business, really. I mean, you really have to look at what you're doing in trading as a business. So I'm a day trader, short-term trader. I'm out at the end of the day, as you have to be with prop trading. And so we're keeping those things in mind. Let's begin. First of all, I went to the University of Cincinnati. That's McMicken Hall. It was a work-study school. That's how I paid for it. And it was a 5-year undergrad degree in mathematics that I got. Was working in a restaurant business, and actually decided to stay in that when I graduated, and actually went from what was the most popular restaurant in Cincinnati to the nightclub business, because I realized the money was really in the drinks and not in the food. So I was hired by American Events Corporation and was opening up Park Avenue nightclubs for them. It was it really was supposed to be a competitor to Studio 54. We never grew to that size. But I was with them a year and a half. That's about all you can spend in that business, running those clubs. So I decided, what can I do with my math degrees, and be excited about it. And my brother was a crazy fan of a guy named Harry Brown, who was one of the original gold bugs. Anyway, after literally a year and a half, 2 years of being in the business, I was coaching 63 individual traders that were trading at that time gold and silver options for their clients. I was always in the commodity end of things. And when an individual, this is not an actual pic, this is the only picture I could find that replicated the kind of room that I was involved in. And when a trader was not doing well for his clients, or trading their money using his trading plan, I would bring them into my office, and in that particular capacity, I learned a lot in those 6 or 7 years that I was running these rooms. Really, what a good trading plan is and what it isn't, and simplicity. I know Anka mentioned it in her. She said the word simplicity probably 3 or 4 times in her presentation. And I agree. The simple trading plans are the way to go. Noise is not good. And when you're dealing with Fibonacci and Elliott, frankly, I find them. I mean, I understand the basis from them, but I find them relatively confusing if you try to look too deeply into it. I'm more of a simpleton when it comes to trading. I use the trend lines. I use what works, and I keep using them. I'm going to show you a little bit about that. In any event, this is where I learned about valuable trading plans. So much so that I was hired by Payne Weber as a commodity trading advisor, who was trading millions for them. But I only lasted about 1.5 years before I said goodbye, because we're doing well in the fund, but the problem was that it also involved me selling, which I really didn't like selling over the telephone. Anyway, and here I am. I started about 2 decades ago. I decided to do my own thing. I've written several books on trading plans. There've been books written about me. I tend to be high energy. After following Anki, you may not realize that she's pretty high energy herself. But I really believe that you have to have a positive expectation when you trade. And so I'm a positive person going in. I think that's really helped me. Not that you want to, dream about making money and somehow applying that, but it helps you to get over losses and realize that when you do have a loss or a series of losses, that it's just part of the overall winning strategy. I started the Disciplined Trader in the beginning of 2000, actually October of 2000. And so it's been around 23 years now, 24 years. And it concentrated the first 20 years, almost so 18 years, on the mental and emotional piece, because that is where the problems come. There are a lot of traders that I coach that have pretty good systems. I can help them improve them, and I do. But they could have made money on them if they could follow it. The problem with most traders, and the reason why prop traders will pay you 90% of the profit, even though their fees are very small along the way, those fees are being paid by 90% of the people that try. Because if you're not successful in your own trading, you're not going to be successful in prop trading unless you realize the differences and realize the importance of keeping the losses down on each trade. In any event, I believe that you need to, if you're not going to work on your mind, how you think about trading, and how if you're a person without skill in, say, patience, you tend to lack patience when you trade. You really shouldn't have a trading plan that only has 3 or 4 alerts in a full day of trading. You're going to start the time is going to stretch. You won't have the patience. You'll start bending your trading plan and so on. So if I were coaching you, and we decided that you were a person without patience, or that was an area that you wish you could improve, we could do that through helping you with the mental part, with meditations that actually work from a scientific level. But I can also help you on adjusting your trading plan to fit you, rather than you trying to change yourself with the trading plan. Again, you should do both. But if you've had a frequent, reliable trigger, something that gives you 12 or 15 signals in a full day of trading, or 5 nice signals in a few hours of trading, this is where you want to be if you lack patience, for instance. And I find that most traders, especially day traders, they lack patience. In fact, most day traders can't trade a full day, and I don't suggest that you do. You're actually better off trading a short period of time, and there are reasons for that. You stay focused, and so on and so forth. In any event, another discussion. But in the last 4 or 5 years, last 2 or 3 years, really, I've really fallen in love with this thing called prop trading, because really, if you're trading a 5, 10, 15, even a $50,000 account, and you make 50% on that account, on the $10,000 account, okay, you made $5,000, and that's a good year. That's a good percentage. It's a crazy good percentage, but where you're gonna, that $5,000 doesn't do much for you. If you qualify for $250,000 with prop trading, of which I have, and I'm working on 4 more right now. You can have multiple accounts. You can be trading literally millions. And I don't want to get too far ahead, but I do want to say that the potential is tremendous. What surprised me at first, it's the traders, it's the retail traders that have big accounts, 100, 200, 300, that are now putting those things in very conservative vehicles and then using prop trading money. They realize, why risk my own money in the big money? It's the small money, I think, that also, of course, has big advantages. Okay, let's get going to. I want to show you this. I did a study on the prop trading universe out there, and I commissioned somebody, my young genius Brady, who to go out there and take a look at prop trading firms out there, the 7 top firms. Now, this was done about a year ago, so things have changed a little bit, but they're primarily the same. The winners remain the winners of this study. And the two basic, one of the 2 most important features to me were how long have they been in business, and are they growing as far as their payouts to winning traders? Are they growing, and are they paying more and more? There are other criteria but you really can't see it here. If you'd like a copy of this study, just go ahead and email me at that same address that I just gave you before, admin@thedisciplinetrader. I will send you a copy of this study. But let's zoom in on the winners. The winner was Apex and Top Step. These are the 2 largest firms. Actually, having a 4.8 rating on Trustpilot, that's pretty darn good. I'm not a huge fan of Trustpilot, but it's nice to see the big rating. But what I want to show you here is their average monthly compensation in the last year, and let's call it year and 3/4, okay, has been averages a little over 14 million. However, in the last 90 days, their average has been over 30 million a month. So they're really doubling their average in the last 3 months than they have over the course of time. And this figure continues to grow. This is what I was looking for. I was looking at tremendous growth. Since they've started in 2022, they've paid out almost $300 million. So this is really where I believe. Now, listen, this could all blow up tomorrow and nobody, but I don't believe so. They're making too much money, and the payouts, are very, very consistent. So let me show you right here. Let's zoom in here on one of the winners, Apex, which is the one that I now have all of my accounts with. If we zoom in on the $50,000 increment, you can see that there's a monthly charge of $167. Well, that's just not true. There hasn't been one day this year where they've charged a monthly income, a monthly fee of $167. It's either been 70, 80, or 90% off. So it's either been $16.70 a month, $34 a month, or $55 a month, but it's never been 167. But what do you mean months? So you need to, if it takes you more than a month to make $3,000 on that $50,000, if you can't get a closing figure of over 53,000, you're going to be charged for another month. So how long will it take you to earn $3,000 on 50,000? I don't think it's going to take you a month, but if it does, you're going to be hit for another $16 or 34. Right now, they're giving 80% off, $34. But this is the number that's important: $2,500. You cannot, with Apex, you cannot go below 2,500 from your open trade high. That means if you put on a trade and it's got $1,000 open trade equity and you don't take it, you let it come all the way down to break even, you'll have the same balance in your account. But the problem is that they will count that $1,000 against you, and all of a sudden now you only have a $1,500 floor. So again, the important part here is that you appreciate and trade in a way that you're not approaching this red line, that you don't give up open trade equity. So my first suggestion to you, if you're a prop trader, in fact, it's good for any trader. It's one of the main things I used to preach in the room that you saw. And that is always take on two positions. Always initiate a trade with two contracts in the futures market. Use one as a scalp and one as what I call a runner. The reason you want to do that is as the market gives you, if you have a trigger, when I say a frequent, reliable trigger, I mean a trigger that has a pop to it. Not only is it frequent, but it's reliable at least 2/3 of the time, where it'll give you a nice pop in the next candle or the candle after. That's what I consider a frequent, reliable trigger. The frequency, of course, I've described before. So the idea is that if you have a frequent, reliable trigger and it gives you the pop that you're expecting, take that pop. And I don't, that could be in a single S&P contract, that could be $250, could be 5 points, okay, 5 full points. So I'm not talking about a couple of little ticks. I'm talking about, and there's ways that we measure it in the Disciplined Trader program that we have, the Loaded Gun Simple Trading Plan. But I can't get into all of that, just to say that there needs to be a measure of taking your scalp and then letting the other one go for more money. Now, as traders, we want to make as big a trade as we can. Look, we're not greedy, but we're in this to make money. So in that runner, you've taken your profit on your initial your scalping position. You put on two, you take your profit in your scalp, and you let the other one run, and then you defend that open trade equity on the way up. Okay, that's the simple part of it. This link right here, if you are an Apex trader and considering it, use this link, thedisciplinedtrader.com/Apex. I do some mental and emotional work with them, as well as with some of their people, as well as with the Top Step. But with this link, you'll always get their best deal. Right now, it's 80% off the charges, okay? And the only charges really are this monthly charge that we're talking about, and also the if you have to reset, if you do blow out your account, usually it's $80 to reset. Right now, it's $35. So they always seem to have discounts on that where you try again. So let's get into it. But I want to fulfill my obligation here for using Fibonacci retracement and EMA. This red line right here, this is this morning's. I was trading the euro dollar this morning. It's a great contract, I believe, especially if you're trading a $50,000 qualifying account for Apex. You want to this red line is the 34 EMA. 34 is a Fibonacci number. So that's one way. That's the basic way that I use Fibonacci. I forget this. Forget the Fibonacci retracement for now. Just follow this red line. What I'm saying is that once it crosses to one side of the red line, it becomes a defensive. You really want to stay short, or on the negative, on the south side of this in your trading, until we get a series of closes. Can't get into all of that, but I'm just saying that if you look at the red line, if you look at the 34, I look at once I'm short, and I would be short in here. Once I'm short, I try to stay short. See, this doesn't get me out. You want two closes above that in order to get it. So I'm using the 34 as a backstop. It gives me because listen, Fibonacci is a universal truth. It's like the spiral galaxy. It's really the circumference divided by the radius of the circular thing that you're considering, whether it's a snail shell or the way broccoli grows. It's all in there. It's a natural expansion. Okay, that's what Fibonacci is, and it's an expansion sequence. In any event, let's take a look at one other way that I use Fibonacci. This is a Fibonacci retracement. I started here. and I pulled it down to, at this point, this is where I wanted to see what the situation was. So I pulled it down. What I want to see is I want to see corrective action. I want to see corrective action, and then I want to see continuation of the trend. So here's a trend that I had identified, easy to identify. What I want is a correct, if I'm not in it, I want a correction of that trend, and then I want a continuation of the trend. But where can I expect the continuation to stop and give me the continuation of the trend? Well, I look at these Fibonacci retracement lines. And I have to say that anybody that's been dealing with Fibonacci retracements know that somehow it never really hits these numbers cleanly and comes back. And you can say to yourself, well, why should I be using it if it doesn't hit clearly? Generally, it's a rotation around these numbers. You can see how around the 32, see the 50 was the 50, which is really not a Fibonacci number, but it is something that people like to see. So it's usually in these measures, in these Fibonacci measures. But 38.2 is, of course, 61.8 is. Those are the main ones that you look for. And one thing I will say that I think you're going to notice is that the shallower the correction, in before the continuation, the shallower it is, the more it's likely to give you power. In other words, you would think that if it starts to gyrate and it comes all the way up to the 6.8 and it comes down, generally these are not as powerful follow-throughs as the more shallow corrections. So I want you to notice that in your own trading, something that I noticed years ago, and it really is a strong tendency. In any event, this is where now I'm starting to look for a place to sell this area as you're seeing as the market is maturing here. Here's where I drew the line. Now I'm watching. I'm continuing to watch. You can see here how we're solidly maintaining that 50% line. Now here's what happened after. This is exactly I didn't delete the lines. Here they are again, but in a more so I'm looking now for a place to go short. Why? Because the Fibonacci retracement has shown me a rotation around the 38.2 and a seeming kind of a wall at the 50%. And you can see how it maintained itself right here. But I'm looking, before you go short again, you need a trigger, a signal. This is one of our loaded gun triggers. It's one of the main loaded gun triggers where we look for hesitation in the market, where you're seeing a doji here, small spinners here, and then you have a definite move through the golden mean right here. So you can see how the 34 was maintained very well. The backstop, you want to kind of keep looking for it as long as we don't start playing on the north side of this. And so here we got our trigger, and look at the pop. You got an instant pop. We would have taken the scalp here. Remember I said you want a short two. And why do we take one here? Because I don't want to challenge this resistance for the scalp. I'm going to take my scalp right before that. And so you can, you can see how it would have been taken here, and then maybe it rallied up. Our stop is up here above the formation, above the trigger formation. But look at this nice profit here, and look at how I won't get into managing this. But here's another signal to go short. But the idea here is I can use Fibonacci to identify a rotation that I expect, as long as we're staying below, in this case, the 34, I can expect to look for a trigger on the short side. I'm not going to go with the trigger on the long side. I'm going with the trigger on the short side, and got it here. And when I started this, I didn't know whether to get a trigger. It's very common to get a nice trigger in that continuation. Now, this one not only reached the low, but went much further than that. Okay, so this is the way that I use Fibonacci. I use it to find rotation around a particular Fibonacci number, and the ones I concentrate are in 38.2 and the 61.8. These are the real Fibonacci numbers. This 23.6 is also, but I find these are the two original. In fact, some platforms will only give you those two. In any event, you can see how I use the Fibonacci, and I respect the Fibonacci EMA, which is this red line, in order to keep me on the right side of the market. All right, let's get going. Are you enjoying this? I'm looking at the chat here, just the golden mean. The golden mean, to me, the golden mean is the 8-bar exponential moving average, okay? What is the red line? The red line is the 34, okay? The link, but don't, we use different moving averages in different situations, but I'm just telling you what that situation is, okay? Golden mean, Fibonacci, just looking here. Okay, I think I've got all the questions. Are you enjoying this? Are you staying with me on here? I just want to see that you're with me in the chat. We only have about a half hour. I'm going to show you a lot of stuff. Okay, I see Wells, who's very active in these chats, I see. Anybody else? Yes, okay, great. Very good. Okay, great. Well, thank you. Thank you. All right, here's the 3 phases of prop trading. Let's get into it. The first phase is the evaluation phase, where you're asked in that. I'm going to keep looking at that $50,000 example, the $50,000 where you've got to make $3,000 and you have the floor of $2,500 below your highest open trade equity. Okay, so you get the evaluation stage. Once you've passed the evaluation stage and you get funded, I'm going to get into this a little bit more deeply. You're funded now, and you're in the funded phase. Here's where a lot of traders they arrive here, but they become maybe even too careful in the funded phase. And there are things that you need to do from a mental standpoint. There are areas that you start to freeze up. In fact, when you're funded, I'm going to show you the area that you need to pass when you're funded. Now you're funded with $50,000. Where do you have to go to actually start getting paid? Once you you see that finish line, there are traders that, a lot of traders that I coach, start to get too careful. They don't want to back up. Again, there are different mental and emotional issues in each of these, and that I can kind of help you with in the way you want to think about it. Okay, so the funded phase leads to what I call the consistent income phase. Once you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 10 accounts that you've passed and that are making money, you can then consistently withdraw from those accounts. I'm going to show you how that's done, but this is where you want to get to. And nobody talks about this phase, but I think you have to have it out there in your mind, because this, again, good trading and good goal setting is not so much setting a particular number every day. I'm not a really big believer in that. I can, one-on-one, we can talk about why, but the consistent income, the idea that this is your plan, and so you want to work it the right way to get to that consistent income phase. You want to, because that's where the glory is, where you can take a vacation and pull out $10,000 even though you didn't trade. Okay, so here again is that area that we're looking at, the $50,000. Okay, again, I just wanted to refresh your memory on when we break. I'm going to break these things down now. Again, it's never 167. It's always either 1530 or 50 something, and again, you want to make $3,000 before you lose $2,500 from your open trade equity high. Okay, let's get into the long-term income phase and the pipeline that leads to it. Now, again, I'm referring to the $50,000 account. All right, the evaluation phase, you've got to, as I showed you in that chart, you've got to get to 53,000 in order to be funded. Okay, now again, 2,500, you don't want to be below the open trade equity is a bust out. If you bust out, you can reset the account right now for $35 and try again. But you don't want to be wasting time. You want to pass these things and get on to the other phases, okay? You want to have a scalping element in your trading plan. Again, the scalping element just pads your distance. Listen, the less you ask from the market, the more it's likely to happen for you. Of course, the more you ask from a trade, the less it's likely to happen. So by not asking for a lot, by asking for a pop in a series, in one of, we've got a few triggers that you can count on that pop. Take the scalp, add your distance from the red line, and make it happen for you. All right, to open an account, as I mentioned, it's going to be from $16 to about $50 an account. And if you take more than a month, you'll pay that again. Okay, now if you bust out, again, $80, right now it's not even 40, it's 35. They're always having discounts, okay? So it's very inexpensive to test. So, you know, rather than, I wrote a paper on the death of simulated trading. Why trade in sim where you can trade here with some skin in the game a little bit, but when rather than passing a sim account and then get ready to trade your own money, when you pass this into, you're going to get funded with $50,000. So I just don't see why you don't want to consider this. Maybe there are reasons. I don't know everybody, but there are very few people that I've come across that don't think after a while that, hey, why not I simulate trading in this respect? Okay, so once you pass, okay, the evaluation stage, you're asked just one question while you're now in the funded phase, and you're asked one question before they allow you to start. Either do you want to pay Apex $80 a month? So, you know, if you make $5,000 that month, they're going to take $80 out of it. You really only made $49.2, okay, $4,920. So you can do that, or you can pay them $140 lifetime and never have another charge from them again. In fact, in the evaluation stage and in the funded stage, they pay for your platform, which is Ninja Trader, or you can use another platform if you haven't, and they pay for your data feed. So they pay for everything all along the way, except for these small charges that I talked about. But once you're in the trading phase, the funded phase, where you're trading real money and you're gaining 90% of the profit. In fact, they give you 100% of the first 25,000 you make. But let's call it 90% because we're talking long term. And you have no other charges. There's no charge after that if you pay the 140 lifetime. So for me, the only choice is lifetime if you have confidence in your trading plan. All right, let's get to the second phase, which is the funded phase, because this is where traders seem to have their issues. You know, they're trading, they're pumped, they're ready to go. Now, in order to start taking money and asking for money to be sent to your checking account, you've got to get to 42,600. Why they picked that number, I don't know. But at 42,600, once you breach that, 2,500 below that is 50,100. That's the red line when you're, of course, when you reach 52.6, right? That's the red line. Now, that red line never moves in the funded phase. So if you get to 55.6 or $60,000 or $80,000, your red line is still at 50,100. So what I'm saying to you is that as you, I'm kind of describing phase 3, but as you let an account mature, you can be taking out chunks of money, and I'll show you how that works in a second. But you've got to reach in your funded phase in a $50,000 account before you can start asking for money. You need to breach 52,600. Get over that. Now, if you reach $52,601, you're not going to ask them for $2,000, which you could. You can ask for as much as $2,000, okay, in each of the pay periods, and there are 2 pay periods a month. So, and I'll explain why that limit gets lifted. But in the beginning, you're only allowed $2,000. You can withdraw anywhere from $500 to $2,000. You'd be a fool to well, I don't know if you maybe it's high need. I shouldn't say that, but if you take the $2,000, all of a sudden now your balance is 50,600, but that red line is 50,100. You're only giving yourself now. You just brought yourself too close to the red line. What I suggest to do, I do like the fact that even if you get up to 52,600, I suggest that you take out 500. When you get that money in your account the first time, and it's all real, that's when you start to really get serious about this, because you can see that this could be, and it should be, long-term income for you. Okay, so I'm going over a lot of numbers, but stick with me here. So you must again breach 52,600, and again, if you do breach that, if you don't get there and you breach that 50,100 level, you're bust out. But you can't reset this account. You got to go back to the other phase. So if you bust out, you're reverted back to the evaluation phase. This is why traders get too careful. I think another suggestion I can have for you right now, in case I miss saying it, you should really start to qualify for at least two $50,000 accounts right in the beginning. This will take the pressure off. You can have the same trades in them, but maybe in a different capacity. In other words, you can have three contracts in one and two in the other. In other words, you can vary your position sizing and take the same signals, but by having two, you're believe me, and there are other reasons I can go through, it really takes the pressure off any one. So you can really start getting paid a lot sooner. So you really want to trade conservatively in the evaluation phase because you don't want to bust out and go back. Okay. Again, the withdrawal range is $500 to $2,000. Okay. You want to be conservative with withdrawal, as I mentioned, because your primary goal is to build equity and stay away from that red line, which is going to stay at 50,600. Okay. Now you can withdraw twice a month. So, you know, if you build to 54,000, you can take out $500. And then in the next couple of weeks, it's every bi-monthly. Bi-weekly, I guess, twice a month, the 1st and the 15th, and you can request another $500 at the end of the month. Okay, so $500 twice a month trumps $1,000 once. And because I want you to be careful with your withdrawals. There's a lot to say about that, but we don't really have the time. Let's get to what I believe really is the important phase that you should be looking at. I won't spend a lot of time on here because you got to get through the first two phases. But once you realize how to do this, once you have a trading plan like Loaded Gun, where you can keep the risk low and start to advance in these actions, know that you can withdraw. If you withdraw 3 consecutive months, there's no limit to the amount that you can withdraw. What I'm saying is that if you had that $50,000 account and you built it to 53,000, let's say, and let's say you take out $500 on the 1st of September, you took out $500, and then you took out $500 on on October 1st, and then again November 1st. So 3 months, not 3 pay periods, but if 3 months in a row, you go ahead and take out, ask for a withdrawal. They know that to them tells them that you're a consistent trader, and therefore they lift what you can get. After 3 months of consistent withdrawal, you no longer have the $2,000 limits. You can build that thing to 70, 80,000 and ask for $10,000. So there's no limit after 3 consecutive months of withdrawal. So Apex adjusts to stay number 1. In fact, they're currently, they did a poll for me and others that are users, and they may be going to 2 consecutive months for the withdrawal. Not yet, but that's what they're looking at. Anyway, the goal after no limit is achieved is to continue to build the account and keep minimum withdrawals so that these 2,000 to 5,000 biweekly withdrawals can continue even during less successful periods. And again, to diversify with different people there are people taking out 100,000 plus a month, and they're doing it through having multiple contracts. Some of them have the limit of 20 different accounts that you can have, okay? So there are different ways that they do it. So if you build to 60 or 70,000 so that you have plenty of room, okay, between the red line that never moves, 50,600, you know, you really can start trading with some breath, okay? So after your success, you can choose to build an account or two and try Trade Copier. There's a Trade Copier that you can put a trade in, and it goes into all of the accounts that you've specified that you want it to go into, and in different position sizing if you want. In fact, there are other positive things about that, but I won't go into Trade Copier. I want you to get into this. I want you to pass your first 1 or 2 $50,000 account, and then I'll show you how to expand properly, okay, and get into the. Now, those that are using Trade Copier, a lot of them have those that are, you know, I interviewed a number of these people. They're very hard to get to, that are making six figures on a monthly basis. And a lot of them do this. They just do this one trade in 10 different accounts. Let's say some of them have 20, and they stop. They make one trade, $300. They've made $3,000. Others, which I tend to like, are diversified a bit. Same trigger, same thing, but the thing is that they may put 3 contracts in one and 2 contracts in another 5, you know, 2 contracts in one set of 5, one, you get it, and 3 contracts in another set of 5 where they have a different result, but they'll just make that one trade and they'll leave. I'm more of, I think you can do much more than just leaving after one trade, or you can diversify with different trades in different accounts. I think that gets a little bit more sloppy. Okay, so you want to diversify possibly. I don't want not too much diversification, because if you have a good trigger and a good plan, why not benefit all your accounts with that? Okay, and you can be more aggressive in a few. Okay, but again, that's a later. It's a later thing. Okay, so let's get into what I'd like to see you do. Okay, and I'll be commenting on ways to trade while I go through this. If you want to qualify for a 50, 100, even a 300, I've got 50s, I've got 150s, and I've got 250 that I've qualified for. And I can show you how to do that. I can show you how I've helped others to do that. You can earn, again, 90% of the profit that you generate, but actually you're going to earn 100% for the first 25,000 in each account. And this is the first one that when you get funded for the first, I was doing 150s when I started. Then I did 50s. Now I'm doing 250s. But each time you qualify for an account, they send you another one of these. Okay, so it's kind of fun. I have it posted on my. Then when you ask for money, the first time I asked for 1,000, then I asked for 2,000. Then I just kept asking. Each time you ask, they give you a new certificate. So I want to show they're very encouraging. Why? Because they want you to brag about it, like I am, to bring the next 100 people in, the next 10 people, your friend in, if you're just talking one-on-one, because they know that the probability is that they will not do well, and they'll just keep playing fees. So the idea is that you've got to understand the different rules and why this is a panacea for the 10% that are doing it right. Okay, so I want to take you there. I want to coach you one-on-one to make that happen in a very reasonable way. Okay, here's the loaded gun simple trading plan. You're going to have the core loaded gun trading plan, which is really just an hour and a half of it's 2 videos. I think they're 45 minutes each, but it's a very simple plan. You understand? I tried to express. I expressed this to the 63 people and more than that over time. But you saw the picture that looked a lot like the room. These people are the traders that do well have simple trading plans. Traders that have more complicated plans, that's almost more for long term. The shorter trading experience you have, the less likely it is for its system to hold up. So you need a special kind of system, and that's what the loaded gun trading plan is. It's a trading plan that I built 4 years ago, but I have adjusted to fit perfectly for prop trading. Okay, again, you get the videos with the core loaded gun trading plan. All the rules fit on one sheet of paper. It's a simple trading plan. You saw some of the charting that I use. In fact, I don't use Fibonacci in the basic plan or in some of these others. That's something that I use for advanced people. But this is a Fibonacci, and Elliott, I wanted to show you how I used it. But it's very, very simple. I only use 1 or 2 moving averages and candle charts. That's really what I'm doing. I will use an RSI for position sizing, not necessarily when to get in and out, although I do like to see convergence. Makes me feel better. If I see a convergence, I may add, again, position sizing, I may add 1 contract. So I use it for position sizing, but it's very, very simple trading plan. You want simplicity when you trade. I give you what I call nuances. Remember I said that the mental part is the part that really hurts traders. And if somebody hands you their trading plan, or you try to even go into a trading room and follow their trading plan, somehow it may work when you're in the room, but when you're on your own, and even when you're in the room, you can hesitate because the trading plan itself doesn't fit you as an individual. These nuances are, right now there are 7 of these nuances, and I'm testing 2 more. I'm always testing. These 7 nuances are things that when I talk to you and we talk about your mental and emotional capabilities, where you're strong and when you're weak, I can suggest that you adjust the trading plan. And I'm not saying get off the trading plan. I'm saying make a permanent adjustment to fit you. See, this is why somebody can hand you a trading plan and they're making all the money in the world and you can't seem to get out of your own way. Why is it? It's not a fit. A trading plan has to fit who you are. That's what these nuances are. It helps to fit the trading plan to who you are. Okay, and there's nobody that does this. This is the key. This is the key to adjusting the simplicity so that you can race on to the permanent income that I'm talking about, that I'd like you to be a part of. Okay, we have monthly get-togethers where we update every last Wednesday of the month. We meet. I discuss any updates, some of the things I'm working on. We have our little boxes. We share experiences. That 34 Fibonacci was suggested by one of the professional traders that uses loaded gun, and that I've coached, and he's a virtuoso piano player that is now retired and helping and and he trades, and he gives piano lessons. But he's a neurotic when it comes to the numbers, and I'm not. I want to know what works and I want to keep using it. But he showed me the 34 in one of our meetings, and I tested it, and he was right. So we use that in various different ways. I've described one way to you, but there are even more progressive ways we use that single 34 EMA. So we do a lot of great stuff in our monthly meetings. That's the point. Okay, a recent user, here's some recent praise. If you go to the offer page, you'll see a lot more testimonials. But I mean, it's fun to see other people doing it. But what about you? And every plan you've ever bought, they all had great testimonials. But if you're struggling, there's got to be more to it. And that's really where I want to help you. So here's Mike, who said, I passed the $100,000 valuation in 4 days trading the loaded gun, mostly scalping, but a few runners brought it home. I still have a few trading days left to finish, but I made $6,000 in 4 days this week. Great plan. Thanks so much. A part-time trader who had some trading experience, but now is really accelerating with loaded guns. Sandra, she is one of my I love her. She's really at the top of my list for success stories. She's worked with also Tisha in another phase of what we do that I won't discuss here, but it's using a mental part. I'm making some progress now, and I really credit your guidance and your voice in my head. I now have 3 funded accounts with Apex, requested my first small payouts from 2 of them. She just keeps getting better and better, and what I suggested that she only take 500 out of each, and that's what she did. She's from Yakima, Washington. But I want to stress this part right here. It's you and I against the market. And I'm not looking at it as a battle. You and I are going to learn to flow with the market, but flow in a way that we stay away from that red line. It's an unlimited one-on-one coaching for 90 days. And this 90 days, incidentally, doesn't start with when you purchase today. It's going to start with when we have our first meeting. So you can have a lot planned in the next month, the next 2 months. Go through the videos. Again, they're short videos. Take a look at some trading, some charts, and you'll be surprised how well simplicity works. And then when you're ready, when you think you got the trading plan kind of in your pocket, then make your first trading, your first meeting with me. You'll have my calendar. You'll make a meeting with me. And that's when the 90-day clock starts. Look, most people need 1 or 2, maybe some may need a third set. Generally, it doesn't go beyond. I have had people every 2 weeks, and that's fine. I have no problem with that. But you have unlimited coaching. If you're new, maybe you need some more time with me, because I can't help but suggest. If you're an experienced trader and you're a struggling trader, you probably only need 1 or 2 sessions with me. But if the door is open, you can have as many sessions with me as you want. But remember that the clock starts when we have our first meeting. So go ahead and purchase. Look at the material under our guarantee, which I'll show you in a second, and realize that you've never seen probably anything like this. Okay. Here's Ken, who's a more aggressive trader. I'm not as aggressive as him, but listen, I'm not going to take away who he is. He says, please share with your wife that since funding his first $50,000 account last Thursday, he's got 5 more 2 days later. And he's got 10, on those 10 accounts, 5 and 5, he made $21,000 all in one pay period on the NASDAQ. He's working on 5 more. Ken is an aggressive guy. I don't suggest that you be this aggressive, but do start with 2. And then, I can show you how to expand the more conservative way like I have, okay? And he said, God has so richly blessed me. I use this particular testimonial because I really think you have to be appreciative of this system. Listen, you can sit here and doubt it. You can say, well, what if they leave? What happens to all my... Well, first of all, it's not your money, but what if you made a profit and you didn't take it? Well, that's a good reason to take a half of your profit, maybe every, once you start in this long-term phase. But there's no reason for these people not to continue what they're doing, okay? Because they are making money hand over fist. Don't worry about them. Don't worry. As long as this lasts, let's do it. Let's get into it. Because it doesn't take long to pass the evaluation stage. It doesn't take long to get into the phase where you're taking out as much as you want after a few months. It's just a matter of getting to it. I want to show you how to do that, okay? The second bonus is something that, again, I don't want, if you're new to this, you got to set up your Ninja Trader if you don't have it, or if you have a platform, that's good, but you got to bring in the data feed. I wanted to learn, I always want to learn Ninja Trader. I was a TradeStation guy for 20 years, 30 years, and so I like Ninja Trader. So I took their offer of using Ninja Trader. They're paying for it, and the data feed, but it took me literally a week to get. I'm not a nerd. Apex and Top Step have a more advanced setup and some confusing to people like me. So I'm going to connect you with that young genius that did that graph before. He's going to jump into your computer and he's going to set everything up for you so you can just start trading, okay? And I say this, but this is a $150 service that we have because I found this guy, but I'm including it here with this offer. Roger, who did pay for the service, he said all in all it went really well. Brady is obviously skilled. His cursor darted back and forth without explanation. He ended up feeling like he got a great bargain at $150. I'm giving this to you. I don't want this setup to stop you. So if you're into this, go ahead and purchase Loaded Gun. Tell me that you need to be set up. In that same day, usually the same day, he'll have it all set up for you. So all you got to do is start trading. Then go ahead and purchase your first account from Apex, and we'll get on with it and so on. But the idea is that I don't want the setup to get in your way. Okay, here's my personal guarantee. I am so confident that you're following the Loaded Gun Simple Trading Plan is going to result in you getting funded by your prop firm so that you risk their money and not yours and still receive 90% of the profit you generate. Just share your trading experience with me that you followed the simple rules on the piece of paper and it didn't work for you, and I'll refund your money plus $500. I've never had to refund anybody's money because it works if you follow it, okay? And it's a simple trading plan. The only thing that may get in your way is your own emotion, and I can help you with that too. But don't concentrate on the positive expectation. Okay, but here is your guarantee. If it doesn't work and you follow the rules, you're going to get your money back, plus I'll pay you for your time, which nobody does. Okay, so here is my offer to you, the Get Funded and Paid special offer. Okay, Loaded Gun Simple Trading Plan. It's offered right now online with the 90 days of one-on-one coaching for $2,497. And it's a great value. It's a great price. I'm sure you can see that, in the end, when you start doing the numbers, it's a no-brainer at that price. You get the core Loaded Gun videos, you get the nuances, which I've described how important they are, and of course we're going to all meet monthly. But then you're going to get the unlimited one-on-one coaching, okay, for 90 days. All right. Again, the 90-day clock starts at our first meeting. It doesn't start when you purchase and look through the videos. Again, all of the videos. You can actually, I also want you to look at some of the past Wednesday meetings to kind of see how we all work there and some of the ways we put everything together. So, but it won't take long for you to get all through the videos. I also am going to give you the done-for-you setup. Okay. He'll set it up for you. Brady will jump in the computer and do it for you. Anyway, it's a value of $5,147. Okay, if you add it all up, $1,247 is what I am asking you to invest in yourself. Let me hold your hand. Let's do this together and get you funded. Okay, $1,247. All you really have to do to get the 50% discount from the $24.97. There's a 50% discount. Go to theirmoneyyourprofit.com. Okay, and then use the coupon code SEPT10. This is good for the day. Okay, it's good for the day, September 10th. I just want you, listen, you're either ready for this or you're not. I really would like you to make it happen. with me. Okay, but there's a limit. Actually, I'm actually going to leave this for the next couple of days because people may see the recording. But I can only take 5 traders, so it's probably only good for today anyway. If you're the 6th trader, you'll get a window that'll put you on a waiting list, because a lot of people like the fact that I'm willing to take you through this one-on-one, okay, with unlimited meetings. So because of the calendar limitations for the one-on-ones, I can only fit 5 people, and I'm serious about that. Okay, so first 5 traders, it's all you. Okay, that is my offer. I'd love you to take advantage of it. The first 5 people will get it. The others will be on a waiting list, although I can't. There is an increase coming, but I can't. I can't guarantee this pricing on the waiting list. So if you're interested listen, you've got the umbrella of my guarantee, the safety umbrella. So let's get going. Let me show you how this is done. Okay, I'm looking at the chat to see if we have any final questions. I'm with you. Oh, good. Yes, Mike. Hi. Expected better balance between. Okay. Well, I don't know. I just, listen. If you don't understand what I'm offering, I just spent the last 10 minutes with the balance. Okay, so I hope that I didn't offend anybody. I hope I gave you enough. I think I gave you 4 or 5 major points there. Okay, there's no such thing as free information. That is absolutely true. Diversifying against prop trading firms is a good strategy. I have a PA account working under. That's great. Oh, thank you. I see a lot of thanks me. You're with me. Okay, everything is okay. Mike. Did give some insight, hoping to be able to withdraw from my thing at 500. That's great. That's great. All right, somebody that I'm coaching that's ready to take on his first 500. Excellent. I have tried prop firms. I can't pass. Just don't trade well enough. Well, again, if you don't trade well enough for prop trading, you likely won't be able to trade for yourself, because this is what professional traders do. They watch that red line. They don't want to be backing up. Okay, and there's certain trades that you take, certain that you don't, but you never breach the limit of what you're willing to lose on each trade. There's also something that I'm going to kind of leave this up, and because I'll be on this page for any further questions, because I've got to get off in less than 2 minutes. But I want to say that if you're not prop trading, you really do want to consider it, because you are trading real money, and the payments are true, and it's very real. So I'd like to encourage you to do this. I think it's a panacea. But again, I will be on for any further questions. theirmoneyyourprofit.com, and I'll be glad to answer any further questions there. Okay. Okay, that is about it. I think I'm going to leave some breathing room for the next person. Again, I really look forward to working with you one-on-one, because I can slow it all down for you. And I know this was a very speedy thing, but this is it was really meant to give you the high points, and to give you some of the important suggestions that I've given you on how to use the 34, and of course using several contracts initiating a trade when you're prop trading, especially. Okay, I hope to see that we've already got one person that is filling it out. I appreciate it, and I'll look for the 5 people to be working with very shortly. Thank you again, David, for having me.